لأن يهدي بك الرحمن فؤادا حائر الوجدان، فذلك يا أخي خير من الأموال والولدان، وخير من هوى الدنيا وما ازدانت من البنيان، وما في البيد من حمر من النعم رفيع الشان، فدعوتنا إلى الرحمن برب واحد ديان، بموعظة وإحسان وجنب لين وحنان، بها نلقى سعادتنا ونلقى الروح والريحان.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. حياكم الله أخواني وأخواتي الأفاضل الأكارم الأحبة، متابعي ومحبي قنوات المجد الفضائية، وأهلا وسهلا بكم في برنامجكم برنامج حمر النعم. أنتم أحبتي في الله، دعاة الله سبحانه وتعالى، وأنتم شركاء في كل نجاح يمر به هذا البرنامج وكل برامج هذه القناة الطيبة المباركة. أذكركم أخواني وأخواتي الأفاضل الأكارم، أرقام الدعاة الآن تظهر أمامكم على الشاشة، تظهر تباعا دعاة بلغات مختلفة. كل ما عليك يا أختي ويا أخوي فقط تأخذون الرقم وتتصلوا على الداعية وتدعون بين أيديكم، أو تستطيعون إيصاله لمن يحتاجه من أي جنسية من هذه الجنسيات الموجودة. وأيضا نحن في انتظار اتصالكم لمن أراد نطق الشهادة معنا على الهواء. الليلة بتكون حديثنا سيكون باللغة الإنجليزية، فإذا تعرفون أي أحد من أي جنسية يتحدث اللغة الإنجليزية احتسبوا الأجر، ذكروا أو خلوه يتابعنا الآن في الدقائق القادمة، على الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يهديه أو يهديها ويفتح بصائر قلوبهم. وكذلك من كان مسلم أيضا يتابعنا لعل الله أن لعله ينتفع مما سيقدم في هذه الحلقة الطيبة بإذن الله تعالى. معي ضيفين كريمين، الشيخ حذيفة الملكي أبو عاصم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام. ما شاء الله.
How are you, brother?
ما شاء الله.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has been.
You tried all the way, trying to hide yourself.
الله أكبر.
سامحني.
Forgive me.
بارك الله فيك. والشيخ عبد الله مسلم إبراهيم. السلام عليكم, brother.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
How's everything?
Good. Everything is good.
So today we will be talking in English language.
لغة الإنجليزية.
لغات الإنجليزية ما شاء الله. You are a teacher and you know how to. I think or do you want to shift to Arabic or
No, we'll stay with English.
We'll stay with English. Maybe Ibrahim, he wants to go to Arabic, so we'll go to.
I'm with you.
In Arabic or English? What do you think?
English is good.
Yeah, it's up to you. You are my sheikh, so that I'll follow what you recommend me to do. So let's go to talk, first of all, my dear beloved brothers. We would like to talk about, first of all, about people, because we start to talk every session here, or each episode we talk, we'd like to give an introduction or definition of what is Islam. So we start with the rights.
You go first. I always go first. You go first this time.
Yeah, okay.
People get the misunderstanding that Islam is a religion.
Mm-hmm.
Islam is not just a religion. It's a way of life. It's a way of life. And from the first thing you do in the morning to the last thing you do at night, you are interacting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through your dua, and you have to understand that the angels are watching you, the things that you're doing, and recording. So your life is, so it's not just a religion where, like the Christians, you go to church on Sunday, and then you do everything else during the week until Sunday, and you go to church, those people go to church on Sundays. So you see, it's a way of life, man. And I remember when this nowadays in the world, it's being tough. It's how tough you can be, with the rap music and the thug life, and it's calling to something other than peace, where you have it in your, where you can feel it in your heart, where you can relax, And I remember when I first became Muslim, it was like a relief. I don't know if you know, you're lifting weights and and you're doing that last one, and it's like on your chest, and it's real hard, you know? And then it's off, and you know what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, you can be a nice person and not be what we call a chump, somebody weak. You know, you can be a strong person, but be kind at the same time in Islam. That was the thing, you know? And what really attracted me was the brotherhood. The brotherhood, man. To have someone say with sincerity, I love you for the sake of Allah. You know, somebody that you don't, somebody, people I don't know, you know, from the program that I had before with the rap session. Brother Abdullah Muslim, we shared the program together. And people will see me and come and say, you know, and I can see it in their face, they're sincere. And they say, you know, I love you for the sake of Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
I mean, for someone to love you for the sake of Allah, you know, mashallah.
It's a blessing from Allah.
Wallah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
So, Ibrahim, I'll talk to also at another point. Sometimes, or most of the time, we're talking about Tawheed. What do we mean by saying Tawheed?
Tawheed is the oneness of God, which is something that a lot of people, around the world, actually, I was going to say from the Western world, but this is not limited to any one culture or one cultural value. The oneness of God is something that a lot of people have a lot of difficulty with. And, you know, the you know, going back into the, I don't want to go back that far. As a Christian, I used to go to church, and it would be, you see, I was like multi-denominational. I was actually baptized as a Baptist, but I studied Catholicism, and ultimately the last type of Christianity that I practiced was the Anglican Church. And one of the things that happened was, when you go into the church, they have the statues, or the pictures, or the stained glass windows. And all of these things are like, they put up images in your mind, and they give you a false image of God. They give you images of God looking like a European man with long hair, okay? Or an Afrocentric man with long hair, okay? Because, you know, it depends on what your race is as to what your statue of Jesus is going to look like, okay? And then they have the mother of Jesus, and that's Mary, okay? And then they have the prophets, and, you know, like if you see the pictures of the Vatican, where the Catholic, their center, they have the pictures of God himself connecting with man, okay? And, you know, the point is that these are the things that people worship. Then you go to India, and you got Shiva, and you've got so many gods, okay? And these are, once again, all things that people worship. Allah is one. Allah is one. He has no mother. He has no father. He has no need of anything in this creation. And this is one of the things that affected me. When I came into Islam initially to be around decent people. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be around decent human beings, people who didn't drink, people who didn't fornicate, and, you know, these things are a regular part of other societies. And I wanted to get away from that. But when I came into Islam and I learned about the Tawheed, I learned about the oneness of God, it was so easy and so clear for me to understand. And it made things very easy for me. It was so beneficial that my wife and I was very fortunate. My wife came into Islam the same time I did.
Allah.
And we never had any doubt about our decision. And one of the things that happened was, as a result of us being able to understand Tawheed in our limited way, and to talk to her parents about it, alhamdulillah, her mother accepted Islam at the age of 82. She said, this is what I've been looking, this I understand. That's what her mother said. This I understand. She says, I never understood Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I never understood these things. I never understood, you know, the other, you know, the varying ideas that people have about God. And, you know, if we look at, I don't want to, like I said, I didn't want to go this, but when you look at Prophet Abraham and what his problem was with his father and with his tribe and how they were worshiping statues, and You know, and you look at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, and what existed in Mecca at the time, that he came with the revelation that Allah gave him, and you know, with his prophethood and with the Quran. And at that time, the Kaaba, which was built by Prophet Abraham, by Prophet Abraham, was a house that was built for the worship of one God. But then what did they do? They took it over and it became a money thing. Okay, that's the businessmen. There were people who sincerely believed in these various statues that they had. Okay. I remember one in particular, a Baal, I think it was one of the statues they put in the Kaaba. But there were many others as well. And they had these statues, and they would go, each person had his own way of worshiping this particular statue. The Kaaba became a place of
trade.
Not just trade, but it became an obscene place, Aki, because people were walking around the Kaaba naked.
Yes.
Okay,
So
that's how far off the human beings had gone.
And the same thing with Jesus in the temple. They say, you know, my grandmother used to tell me that money is the root to all evil.
That's one of the roots.
Yeah.
So Ibrahim, mentioned very important thing, that at the beginning when Abraham has built the Kaaba, or the holy building in Mecca, it was the place that to worship only one God. This is what we call, that's what we call Tawheed, the oneness of God. But literally, people they brought some idols and they brought it around the Kaaba, and they start to worship different gods, and each tribe they have their own gods. Okay, let's talk about the situation, particularly about this point, the situation in Mecca ahead of the message of Muhammad, peace be upon him. What was the situation that time?
The unique thing about that was they were honest people, right? They were honest, but yet they were dishonest, and they were very tribal, right? They were very tribal. They had a war for how many 100 years over a donkey or a camel? I can't remember.
With a camel, yeah.
Over a camel, because the camel went into the other person's.
They would call it. Just for a camel, they had a war.
Yeah. So for over 100 years, yani. And it was very tribal, you know, and it was very hot-tempered, you know.
It was misanthropic also.
Huh?
In other words, I hope I used the right word. Because remember, they used to bury their baby daughters.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. In fact, the women were like chattel. They had no value.
No rights. They had no rights.
You could just pass. You know, you could pass your wife on to your son when you died.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, he will inherit. But I mean, on that time after Abraham, that people they start to worship idols. They violate the teaching of God or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then they start to worship many gods. And the later generation, they inherit their belief of their great grandfathers.
Because the way of my grandfather.
Yeah. This is what. So people of Quraysh, or people who was living in Mecca, they were idols worshippers.
Yes.
That's what we call it.
Yes.
So when Muhammad, peace be upon him, he came. What was his message at that time? Because people they have misconception of the message of Muhammad.
But the thing is, they believed in Allah.
They still believe in Allah. But they associate.
They believed in Allah. They believed
as a creator.
They believed in Allah, but then, you know, they made the angels his daughters, and then they made, you know, these statues a go-between. And again, this is the reason why I said even though they believed in Allah, but they also worshipped these idols, and also it was money, right? Because because everybody was coming to Mecca, and when they're coming to Mecca, they were coming with money, trade. And then the thing was, they said, and then when the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came and said, okay, we need to worship the one God, they're saying, and you can worship anywhere. Not just come to the Kaaba, you can worship anywhere. Oh man, you messing with my money now. Right? You're messing with my money.
Yeah, that was their position.
Yeah,
the businessmen.
You know what I'm saying? You're messing with our money now. You know? It's okay, you got the one God, okay, fine, but no, but now you're going to mess with our money.
Even though Ibrahim, even though they reject the message of Muhammad because they said it was strange that how
Yes,
comes
it
that
was strange.
you want to make, we have more than 300 gods, and suddenly you'll come and you say he's
You
one.
Make one.
Yeah.
And you can worship him anywhere. You see? So it was like, oh.
So when he told them that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they said we worship what we have inherited from our grandfathers and fathers, and also because especially the leaders or the head, they were afraid they may lose their positions.
Yes, use position, yes.
Also.
And
that's what happens everywhere nowadays.
I turned to my mother and I said, Mom, you see how Islam changed me? And I said, Mom, you see, you know, the one God and you understand it? Yes. I said, well, please, Mom, just, you know, accept Islam. Well, she said, I'm sorry, because I just want to follow the way that my mother and my grandmother followed. And Allah say in the Quran, that's what they do?
Yeah,
exactly.
Some of them, yeah, for sure.
I follow the way of my fathers.
That's all.
I was like, whoa, subhanAllah, as if she read the Quran. So I said that. I said, Mom, please, you know. But again, we have to understand, and giving, like with us talking, and those people in the audience watching, it's not us who make the Muslims, you know. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who makes the Muslims.
Allah gives
it's Allah who gives the guidance. It's Allah who softens the heart, you know. Because if that was the case, then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his uncle, Abu Talib, his uncle, knew him, loved him, protected him, and didn't accept Islam.
And he knew that Muhammad is one.
He knew it. He knew it. Of course, he knew it. But then again, he said, "What? They were around him. Ya Abu Talib, what you gonna do, man? You're going to die on this, man? You're going to change your religion? You're going to change the way of our grandfathers?" And he said, "Oh, no, I die on the way. I die on the way of my grandfather. I'm the belief of my grandfathers." Again, on the way of my grandfathers. And it also gets into where we get into may Allah forgive us and protect us from grave worshiping. You know, because of my grandfather, I want to go and pray and pray to my grandfather.
But you know, you look at the extremes of that exist in the world today. You go to a lot of the islands in the Pacific, you know, some of those Polynesian places, and also in places in India, people actually, they don't bury their ancestors, they lay them out, and then once a year they come and they bring them and they put clothes on them, put food with them, and this is today going on. In the 21st century, people are still doing these things.
Sometimes they burn the bodies.
Yes, they burn them, yes.
Yeah.
They burn the bodies.
Not only do they burn the bodies, then if it's the man, subhanAllah, his wife gets burned with him.
In Hinduism.
Yeah.
That's Hinduism.
Yeah.
You know, but this is the extremes that human beings go to. You know, one of the things that in Islam, you know, I know we're talking about the situation in Mecca prior to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam receiving his mission and proceeding to carry it out. However, when we look and we see the extremes that human beings have gone through, just from that time to now, okay, and you recognize that Islam is the only way of life that has been revealed to humanity that has historically consistently produced benefit for the people who practice Islam and those who live within their societies.
Allah.
Okay, and you know, now when you look at, okay, there's one example that I use when I talk to my sons, and I tell them, I say, okay, look at Spain. Muslims were in Spain for almost 900 years. Islam was there. I mean, it was there for so long. It was, you could say, indigenous to the place. But what happened? Because of disunity amongst the Muslims, and because of jealousy on behalf of the Christians, because they didn't produce anything like what had been produced there. And it's only one example. There are many examples. What happened was, once the Muslims were forced out of Spain, everything went backwards. The science went backwards. They started, all of the mathematical formulas as far as how the stars worked and all of these things had been worked out.
Medicine,
all right?
and astronomy and math. And
yeah, the Muslims already knew that the earth was not the center of the universe. It was part of a solar system. Our scientists knew that. the Christians took over and turned everything backwards. Okay? And started saying, no, that's not so. The earth is the center of the universe, and everything is within a glass sphere, and it was like a lot of very strange things. And this is why the astronomer, or I could say the scientist Galileo, got in trouble, because he was in support of things that existed that the Muslims had revealed, not what Christian church was saying. And he didn't say it in the Latin language, he said it in common everyday Italian language, which meant that the average person could get a hold of this language, he would understand it, and he, spread dissension against the church.
Yeah, because the church, remember that the church spoke in Latin.
Right.
And the Bible was in Latin.
Right.
And the services was in Latin.
Yeah, and they controlled everything.
And the people didn't understand Latin.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that's how they wanted it. They wanted to keep it like that.
Yeah.
But just a point, I was just thinking, I'd like to make a challenge to our viewers. If someone can call in and tell me, is there another religion in the world that practices the belief in one God, only one God, without any partners, sons, anything like that, right? Just the one God. I've been looking and searching for it. So if someone can help me out there, and that knows of a religion where they only practice the belief in one God, please call in and let me know, please.
Now, the parallel that I see in this is that during the time of prior to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people had become, money was a significant portion of it, okay, but there were a lot of people who really believed in these idols.
The layman.
And
the layman, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And as a result of that, what happened was these people were upset that there was something that was challenging their multiplicity, or that they had attached to God. So all of these things were were in existence, and all I'm trying to do is just show you that really humanity hasn't changed that much from that day, from the time to now.
Because the root of it is Iblis.
Iblis.
Yes. But because I want to go back to our main point that we talk about Muhammad, peace be upon him. Allahumma salli wa sallam alayhi. So Muhammad, when he came on that time, he came with the message of Tawheed, of oneness of Allah, the Almighty God, and people of Mecca, they reject this message and they didn't accept it for the beginning. And also the message of Muhammad, it was the continuous for all the prophets and the messengers.
Yes.
So it wasn't new.
It was a continuation. Yes,
it was a continuation for all prophets and the messengers. So the message of Islam, it's not only new in that time. So it was only the continuous as what was Abraham saying, what was Moses, David, John, Jesus Christ, all of them.
All of them. And we do believe, and we do believe in Jesus. We do believe in Jesus. May peace and blessings be upon him. Yes, and I love Jesus. And I love him, and I love him in the place that he is, and I know that he existed. I believe that he was born of the virgin birth. I believe that he didn't die on the cross. He was raised up.
And he'll come back again.
And that he will come back again.
He resurrected.
You know what I'm saying? He will come back again. He will marry, and he will die like every other human being does. I believe this. I believe in. Now the thing about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that they knew him to be honest.
I will go, so because we have a break now,
okay.
So we'll go back, we talk about the point, what we mean by as-sadiq al-amin, because the people of Mecca, they knew Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as as-sadiq al-amin, and we will explain what we mean by as-sadiq al-amin, because it's a very important point to talk about.
Indeed.
After our short break. أخواني وأخواتي الأفاضل الأكارم، نخرج فاصل قصير، نعود بعد الاستكمال ما بقي معنا من فقرات حلقتنا. بكون معنا، وتذكروا أرقام الدعاء تظهر على الشاشة، ذكروا من بين أيديكم حتى يتابعنا، وذكروا من تعرفون حتى يتابع الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يمن عليهم بالهداية. أيضا من أراد الاتصال ونطق الشهادة على ونحن في انتظار اتصالاتكم. كونوا معنا بعد الفاصل.
بها نلقى سعادتنا ونلقى الروح والريحان. بها نلقى سعادتنا ونلقى روح والريحان.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، حياكم الله يا اخوان واخواتي. نذكركم مجددا الان نتحدث هذه الليله باللغه الانجليزيه لمن اراد متابعتنا واستفاده من هذه الحلقه، نسال الله يكتب لنا لكم الاجر والفائده. So brother, I'll go back because we mentioned that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was in Mecca on that time and he came with the message to worship only one God. This is why the people of Mecca rejected his message and they didn't accept it, because they said that we inherit that belief from our great grandfather to worship many idols.
So where am I, grandpa?
And he was known on that time, even ahead of his message,
Yes, he
as
was.
As-Sadiq al-Amin.
Yes, he was. Yes, indeed.
What do we mean by As-Sadiq al-Amin?
3 points. 3 points. Let me hit them real quick. The first one, when you know, he was like security. He was like a bank. You know, he used to keep the money of the people. You know, the people would, you know, Muhammad, hold this money for me.
He was the
You
most
know?
trusted person.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They give him his money. He would hold the money for them. Now, subhanAllah, the day that he went on the Hijrah, when he went to Medina,
From Mecca to Medina.
And the thing was, he still had money, and people,
still
you know,
trusted
people
him.
still came to him. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad, you know, I say in the morning that you're crazy, but here, I want you to hold on to my money for me. Please keep my money for me, right?
Because they know that he's...
Yeah. But in the daytime, they're talking about it. But at night, they come to him, Muhammad, please keep these gold pieces for me, please. I need to, you know, because I know that you can keep them for me, right?
Because he's honest.
Because he's honest, right? So then, subhanAllah, he put Ali, he left Ali behind, right? When he made that night, he
left his cousin.
He left his cousin in the bed, right? And they were out, the people were out, that was the night they were going to kill him. They were going to go in and kill him. He left, why did he leave Ali? To return back
The
the
money.
Amana. SubhanAllah.
The trust.
I know he was a prophet, because if it was me, I would have took that money and left. Call me crazy.
Because they were his enemy.
That's
He
right.
can't
You
take
call
it.
me crazy. This is mine now. Just look how crazy I am, right? But no, that's what I'm saying. He's a prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He left Ali. Said, Ali, give this back. This goes back to he returned their money, even though he left, right?
Even if they were trying to have
kill him, and they were calling him these names. The other one, when he first received the message, right? He said, "You know me." They said, "Yeah, we know you. You're the honest one. We've trusted you.
This is the honest Amin, and Sadiq.
We believe you, right?" He says, "Now, if I told you that there was an army behind this mountain here that's coming to attack, would you believe me?" And they said, "Yeah, we believe you." He says, "Okay, now I came with the message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one." Oh, what's this? His uncle came. What's this?
They refused.
Yes, that was the 3. The third one, when he made the Miraj, he went to heaven, to Jerusalem, and then he went to heaven, and then he told the people, and he went to Abu Bakr, as-Siddiq, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. This is the Siddiq. This is the trusted one, his friend. He said, "Ya Muhammad." He said, "Ya Abu Bakr, your friend Muhammad said that he went to the heaven and he went to Jerusalem all in one night." And Abu Bakr said, "Did Muhammad say that? Did he say that? If he said it, then it was the truth." SubhanAllah.
Okay.
So that's the love and the truthfulness that the people
knew
about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
You know, the other thing is that, you know, you have to consider the people who came around him. The first person to accept Islam was his wife.
MashaAllah.
Okay.
And she,
All
who
right.
know better than her,
Yeah,
right?
and you know, and she told him, she told him, she says, you know, if this is what came to you, then you're not crazy. You know, something, you know, you really happened. And she was the first person to accept Islam. And the other people who came, they all came because they knew.
That was Khadija,
his wife, yes. And, you know, but all of the others who came, they all came because they knew of his honesty. Okay? And they trusted him, so they knew that if, and also, you know, I'm going to take another jump like I have a tendency to do, is that with him, the people who were there, they weren't just poor people or slaves, but you had a lot of wealthy people also. And the thing is that they saw the change, they saw the benefit in their lives from practicing Islam. They saw the benefit of prayer. They saw the benefit. There was a real benefit that they saw. And the benefit increased to the point where Allah, as they increased in their prayers and they increased in their knowledge of what to do, as taught to them by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they saw themselves move from being a people who were oppressed and who had sanctions placed against them, to a people who actually were given responsibility in one of the major cities on the Arabian Peninsula, being Medina. Okay, and then Islam spread out from there. Okay, and all this is based on La ilaha illallah. All right, based on there is no God but Allah, and practicing that and using that as taught in the Quran.
And let's take it up to even a little bit more modern days, Indonesia. Now they say Islam was spread by the sword. That is totally false. Islam was spread by honesty, right? The brothers, I believe, the brothers from Yemen, they went to Indonesia and started the business.
For business.
And the honesty, the whole country now, the largest Muslim country in the world, Indonesia. How did they become Muslim? Through trade, through honesty, through trust. Yeah? That's how it
And
happened.
the same thing in many places in Africa as well.
Yes.
The same thing that. Also, just to give an example, that because to correct this kind of misconception, we have a narration about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad peace be upon him, that he told us that a woman, she was from Israel, she was from the son of Israel. Allah has put her in the paradise for what?
For giving water to a dog?
A dog. She gave it. The dog was thirsty, and she gave him or gave it
water.
A small amount of water to drink. So this is where Allah put His mercy upon her. Then He told us this. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was encouraging us to be merciful, to be nice, to be
kind.
to be kind.
Kindness.
On the other side, He told us that another woman, when she
didn't feed the cat.
she kept it in her room.
Yeah.
She didn't take care of it. She didn't
What
feed
was
it.
his punishment?
She left it locked up and it died in the hellfire. Do
you think that a man was saying or telling us this kind of manners, he will be bad to others?
No way.
I mean, and also the kindness of when the Fatah Mecca, when he opened up Mecca.
Yeah.
After they kicked him
When he
out.
conquered Mecca, yeah.
After they kicked him out, and they had several wars between the Meccans and the Muslims. Yeah. And then when he finally came back to Mecca with a big army.
He was a Victorian at that time.
Huge
He was prepared
army.
to do whatever he wanted them to do.
They walked in, and he said, "Do not hurt anyone."
No one.
No one.
one was killed.
He said, "No killing." Right now, if that was me, of course, see, that's what I show. I'm not a prophet. If that was me, I would say, "Hey, we're gonna roll in on these jokers and take them out.
We're going to take revenge.
Take what they.
We're going to do the Genghis
What do you do to
Khan
my?
thing.
What do you do? I remember. Yeah. You know.
And some of them,
Allah.
some of their leaders, they were torturing him, and they killed some of his companions.
Bilal.
But he never hurt any one of them.
Yasser.
And also he honored some of them, like Abu Sufyan,
Yes.
who was one of the leaders. He gave him a kind of as an honor that he said everyone will go to the house
To
of
his
Abu
house,
Sufyan. He will be safe.
Be safe.
And do you think that another man can do the same thing? That
No, man.
none. This is why Allah subhanahu wa taala called him بما رحمة. He
But
called him a rahmah.
He was a rahmah. Yes, he was.
Muhammad was a mercy from Allah subhanahu
Yes,
wa
he was,
ta'ala to all the
the whole
man,
of humanity.
the man can.
And he's
human.
and the thing is, he's an example, a living example for us to follow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Leadership.
saying? We can follow him. If we have how we're going to do this? How did Muhammad do it?
You know,
How did the Prophet Muhammad, how did he handle this? How would the Prophet Muhammad handle this? You know what I'm saying? We have the hadith, which are very clear to us on the things that he said, the things that he did, the things that he saw and didn't say anything about, which is his sunnah.
one of the things that we have to be conscientious of is that, Islam is not new. It's been here for 1,439 Hijri years.
The last part.
So we have a record. We have a history of accomplishment. And our history is not a history it's clear when you look at it and you see that the people, those who came after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Muhammad, and who used his sunnah in the Quran as their means of leadership, they were successful,
Yes,
without
they
a
were.
doubt.
Yes, they were.
And those who came after them and changed it to something else, changed it because of, something other than their being in a position to clearly demonstrate that they were qualified, all right, as far as their understanding of Islam historically, okay? For instance, the example I go back to with my children is Spain. Good example, but there are other examples as well, okay? And what happened is, like I'm saying, historically, we have always been clear. It's clear, 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 clear. Islam works. You use it, it works, everybody benefits. And the example of leadership that our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave us is the only one that works for us. Anything else takes us away. It takes us away.
جزاك الله خيرا. فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. اللهم صل وسلم عليه بأبي أنت وأمي يا رسول الله. حديث كان عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعن سيرته حقيقة، يعني تصاغر الإنسان وتسمو النفوس في الحديث عن هذا النبي الكريم صلوات ربي وسلامه. فاصل قصير يا إخواني وأخواتي، نعود بعد الاستكمال حلقة نبقون معنا.
إلى الرحمن برب واحد ديان بموعظة وإحسان وجنب لين وحنان بها نلقى سعادتنا ونلقى الروح والريحان.
لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. الله أكبر.
إلى الرحمن برب واحد ديان بموعظة وإحسان وجنب لين وحنان بها نلقى سعادتنا ونلقى الروح والريحان.
السلام عليكم. الله أكبر يا إخوان. يا إخوان شوفوا عظمة هذا الدين العظيم. هذه 500 شخص يعني بجهود الأخوة الدعاة الله سبحانه وتعالى، وقبل ذلك وبعد ذلك توفيق الله سبحانه وتعالى يعني أسلموا هؤلاء. فهنيئا لمن دعاهم يا إخوان، وهنيئا لمن كان سببا، وهنيئا لمن شارك. وهذه حقيقة يعطيني ويعطيكم ويعطيكم يا أخواتي دافع للعمل جميعا. يعني سبحان الله قد يسلم أشخاص كثر بمطوية، بكتاب، بعمل، بتبرع، بدلالة على خير. يعني بعض الناس قد يأتي لبعض مكاتب الدعوة يوجههم لأحد الجهات وينسق لهم معها حتى تقيم محاضرة لهم ويصيرون داعية سواء رجل أو امرأة، ثم يهدي الله هذا الجمع. كل هذا يكون في ميزان حسنات من دعاهم. فهذا حقيقة فضل الله سبحانه وتعالى يؤتي من يشاء. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرزقنا إياكم من واسع فضله. طبعا الحديث يا إخوان قبل قليل كان يعني يتمحور عن سيرة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام عندما قدم إلى مكة، وكيف مكة كانت بلاد شرك، وكيف أن قريش يعني لم يقبلوا دعوة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام. قالوا يعني أجعل الآلهة إلها واحدة. يعني لما قبلوا دعوة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم تحدثنا يعني عن القضية كيف أن صناديد قريش يعني رفضوا هذه الدعوة خشية أن يفقدوا منزلتهم ومكانتهم وبعد مصادر الأموال. وأيضا تحدثنا عن أنهم كانوا يسمون النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام الصادق الأمين، وكيف أنهم حتى في لحظات عدائهم للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كانوا أيضا يضعون أموالهم عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. وذكر أبو عاصم الشيخ حذيفة أنه في آخر لحظة النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام عندما هاجر جعل علي ينام مكانه ويجلس يعني يتأخر في مكة حتى يرجع الأمانات إلى أهلها. وأيضا في فتح مكة كيف أن النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام وكانت لحظة يعني مناسبة له أنه ينتقم من كل أعداء الذين آذوا وعذبوا أصحابه وقتلوهم. كانت فرصة، لكن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يؤذي أي رجل منهم، بل قال اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. بل إنه يعني جعل حفظ حق أبو سفيان، وقالوا من دخل بيت أبي سفيان كان آمنا. وثم تحدث أبو عبد الله مسلم وأبو إبراهيم تحدث عن موقف تلك المرأة العظيمة، نسأل الله أن يجمعنا بها في جنات الخلد، أم المؤمنين خديجة رضي الله عنها، وموقفها في قبولها لدعوة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم مناصرتها للدعوة. وحقيقة أنا ودي لو نخصص حلقة فقط للحديث عن هذه المرأة العظيمة. والله حقيقة سبحان الله يعني كلما تحدثت وكلما قرأت وكلما سمعت عن هذه المرأة العظيمة تسامت نفسي حقيقة وتصاغرت نفسي أمام هذه المرأة العظيمة أم المؤمنين. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجمعنا بها في ظل عرش مستقر رحمته. So we'll go back my dear brothers to talk about what we were talking about. So we were talking about that he was, they call him as-sadiq, because he never told lies. They knew that. But even though when he started to give them the da'wah, the message of Islam, even though they know that he's the most honest and he's the most what do you call that one? Sadiq, trustworthy. Even though they tried their best to say that no, he's a liar, and they know that he never tells lies.
No, subhanAllah. And the other thing, just the point that you made regarding women in Islam. Khadija, the first woman that accepted Islam was, the first woman.
Person.
The first person that accepted Islam was a woman.
Khadija,
Khadija, and she trusted him, and she believed in him, you know.
But she knew her husband now. Remember, she married him because of his honesty.
No.
Yeah.
Because
she married.
She was a successful woman. She was a successful, independent businesswoman.
She was older than him, and she was a wise lady in that time. Because all people of Mecca, they know that Khadija was a wise lady, and she has an experience. She was a business lady, and this is why she asked Muhammad to marry her, because he was honest.
Yes, he was honest. And when he established, and when he went to Medina, and the way he established the law in Medina, and the way that he dealt with the way he dealt with the Jews, and the way he dealt with the new Muslims, you know, with care,
even hypocrites,
and love, and yes, and definitely the hypocrites, right? The way he dealt with them too, and mashallah, you know, just peaceful, very calm, and that's how, you know what I'm saying, that's how we should be with our da'wah. Our da'wah starts with us, you know what I'm saying. For those of you who have maids and drivers, remember, they're looking at you, and they see you. They know you. They know you well. So how do you give da'wah? Oh, I don't speak Tagalog, I don't speak English. Okay, fine. Well, your character speaks.
Yeah.
Let your character speak. Let your character speak. Let them know, oh, this is, you know what I'm saying, this is a Muslim. This is what Islam is about. Not paying them on time, or
not paying them.
Not paying them, or telling lies, and Allah understand. That's not da'wah, man. The da'wah has, because it was the Prophet Muhammad, it was his character, yes? It was his character that brought people to Islam, right?
The best character.
It was his character that brought people to Islam. People because he was honest, and they said, how could he lie? And it's his character that brought them, akhi.
But remind me one thing, that even some of the people that before they become Muslim, like Amr ibn al-As and the others, companions, before they become Muslim, they said, when we came to see him, he was the most one we hate. We hate Muhammad. No, we don't. Well, we mean that, but we mean that he's the most one we hate, and we hate Islam. But when we met him and we talked to him, that we start to love him. So he became the most beloved to us.
That we loved,
yes. You know,
and because he has the complete character for human being.
Allah blessed him with it. Yani, Allah blessed his heart and blessed him with it.
And you have to consider that all the people around him were not necessarily religious people. You know, like he had some criminals who came. One of the early Muslims, I can't remember, he was a part of a tribe that was known to steal, to rob you. I can't recall his name right now. Okay, and he accepted Islam, and you know, so when people are looking at this, they're seeing that he's not just attracting people who are disenfranchised or people who are in need. He's attracting people who have something, all right, or people who have a way of life, people who have a strong tribe behind them, and people who have wealth, okay, like Uthman, okay. And, you know, these are people who are being attracted to him, and there are others who had wealth as well. But these are the people who are coming to him and listening to what he has to say, and they're becoming better, okay? The criminals who are around him, and I use that word because that's the word we use today, it's the colloquial English word for a person who commits crime. They, when they came to him, they stopped. They stopped, and then they took what the message that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came with back to their tribe, and the people in the tribe began to change. And after a while, you didn't have these criminals on your border anymore. Okay, they became. I really wish that I could recall his name, because he was one of the first 10, 15 people to accept Islam. Yeah, I know. I can't recall the name right now. But what I'm saying is that people who observed Islam in practice, in reference to what you were saying, it's not just a matter of talking.
It's action.
It's action. It's the way you behave. It's what you do, how you conduct your affairs. Okay? And if people see a big change in you, all right, they say, well, what brought about this change? Okay? Why is there a difference here? Okay? And it all comes back to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the example for leadership worldwide today. I believe his example for leadership, if it was emulated, if it was something, we wouldn't have air pollution. We wouldn't have the water polluted. All right? We wouldn't be eating genetically modified foods. Okay?
No.
Because our director Abu Badr, he wants us to go for a break. أبو بدر طبعا يبغى يزف لكم بشرى، جزاه الله خير، مخرجنا الحبيب أستاذ ماجد صلاحات تعود في كل حلقة جزاه الله خير يزف لكم بشرى، وهذه من الحوافز الجيدة لكم يعني، وترون ثمار جهودكم، نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يحرمنا إياكم الأجر. فاصل قصير جميل، كونوا معنا وتابعوه، يعني ما نبغى نحرق يعني الفاصل هذا قبل أن ترونه. كونوا معنا يا إخواني وأخواتي.
دعوتنا إلى الرحمن برب واحد ديان، بموعظة وإحسان وجنب لين وحنان، بها نلقى سعادتنا ونلقى الروح والريحان.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. ما شاء الله. كونجراتيوليشن. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
إلى الرحمن برب واحد ديان، بموعظة وإحسان وجنب لين وحنان، بها نلقى سعادة.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياكم الله يا اخواني واخواتي. طبعا مقاطع الشهاده يا اخوان تحفز النفوس وتسعد القلوب المؤمنه يعني التي تسعد مثل هذه الاخبار، وكيف لا تفرح النفوس، والرب سبحانه وتعالى يفرح بمثل هذه الامور. 4275 ثمار جهودكم، نسال الله سبحانه وتعالى ان لا يحرمكم الاجور، وان يشركنا معكم جميعا يا اخوان ويا اخواتي الافاضل الكرام. والله الله يا اخوان، الله بمزاده يعني زياده الجهد في الدعوه الى الله سبحانه وتعالى ونشر مثل هذه الإعلانات عن هذا البرنامج. So we were talking about how did he manage sallallahu alayhi wasallam within sometimes with one word to change a man. One day he was a criminal, one day other man he was alcoholic, other man he used to do a fornication. But when he told them that when they accept Islam, immediately they stop. While nowadays to treat a person who's alcoholic, you need maybe months or a year to treat him, or a thief to treat him. You need to give him a long course how to change him from a bad person to a good person. But with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with the one word or two words or the few words, he managed to change many bad people to make them the best people, sometimes to make them a good, highly educated leaders and so on.
But you know, one of the things that, coming from the USA, one of the things that I'm conscientious of is that there was a period in American history, I think it was from 19 1929 to 1939, I think it was. All right, a period they call Prohibition, when the government, at the with the help of many Christians in America, made it illegal to drink or sell alcohol. Okay, it was illegal. And it didn't work. What happened was criminals said, okay, if it can't be sold legally, we're going to sell it illegally. And people in this society said, well, the government's telling us we can't drink alcohol, and we're going to drink it. Okay? In Muslim society, to this day, many places, unfortunately not all of them, but many places in the Muslim world, the people do not have a taste for alcohol because it's something that Allah has written in Quran. Now, I always refer to history. I say that there's a historically consistent fact. We have world history, which Islam is a bedrock. It's a bedrock of world history. It's not like you have Islamic history and the rest of the world. You have the history, including Islam. All right? Now, what's happened is we look at the countries that have developed independent of Sharia, okay, or independent of the words of Allah as given to us through Quran. And these people have serious, serious problems with alcohol and marijuana and cocaine and heroin and so many methamphetamines, okay, all in an attempt to change their reality. All right, they get intoxicated to change their reality. The reality for the Muslim is service to Allah, ibadah, which was taught to us by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The result is Allah tells us that, and they ask you about intoxicants. Tell them, in it there's a harm and there's a benefit. But the harm is greater than the benefit. This is the way it reads in the tafsir. Now, you know, every once in a while, I'm reading like Time magazine or something, and they'll come up with this article. Scientists discover that drinking wine is beneficial to the heart. Okay? Well, why do I have to drink wine? Can't I just drink grape juice? You know, why does it have to be fermented and something that intoxicates me? All right? They are constantly, when I say they, I'm talking about people who have a different aqidah, okay, other than ours. And that aqidah is putting them in a position mentally where they're dependent upon things that are no good for them.
We still have something to cover, inshallah. I think we better make it next week, because all we have now just 1 minute. I think it's not enough to cover our different topics to talk about Muhammad, peace be upon him, because if we talk, when we talk about him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I think we need a long time. Just we are trying our best to correct most of the misconception about Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and about his message. And we are telling our dear viewers that who has big or small misconception to correct it, read about Muhammad, peace be upon him, or watch us this coming Thursday. Waasim, thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Abu Ibrahim, thank you for accepting our invitation and for being with us
Glad
today.
to be with you.
May Allah reward you for that. And we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, we have a message to our dear viewers that people, especially non-Muslim, it's a good opportunity to be a Muslim.
No, definitely.
جزاكم الله خير. بارك الله. See you إن شاء الله. لكم أنتم إخواني وأخواتي الأفاضل الأكارم، شكر بعد شكر الله سبحانه وتعالى. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى نحشرنا إياكم في زمرة الأنبياء والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين والسلام لطاعته. شكر خاص لإخواني وأحبائي في قناة المجد الفضائي، كل هذا الكادر الرائع الجميل. حتى ألقاكم في الأسبوع القادم، أترككم في رعاية الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت، أستغفرك ربي وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
من النعم رفيع الشان، فدعوتنا إلى الرحمن، لرب واحد ديان بموعظة